Our students, Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And this one is for all you guys that have been struggling to draw women. I'm going to take a long series and then show you how to draw women. Break it down piece by piece and show you how to draw women so your women can look, dare I say, sexy. All right, so let's get on with the video. Yeah, no rambling. Let's just go. All right, art students, let's get this thing going. Now, I want to focus on women for a few videos. I was doing a lot of men, but I'm going to focus on women and doing silent drawings. Let me slide this over a little bit. So, and the reason is because I looked at a couple people's sites and I saw their drawings of women, and the women were like long and big and thick. So I said, let me do one or a couple videos on drawing women. So if you are somebody that's not been doing a lot of women, this should help. I'm going to make it as easy as possible. So that's the reason why we're doing the females. So let me slide this over and adjust my camera because I have to have it in the right place to start drawing. And if I touch it, everything messes up. So I think that'll work for me right here. Okay, so of course there is a difference between the female body and the male body. And if you have been a student of mine for a while, you know how I draw the male body. You should also know how I draw the female body. So let's just do a quick male. And the male, I'll start out like with this. It's just dark enough. Let me see if I can get a darker pencil. Or just bear down on this one, because this is not going to be any detailed drawing. I just wanted to be dark for you guys. Yeah, that's better. I think this one is different. This was a 5, and I think this is a 7. Yeah, so I always start out with the oval for the male. Draw the tuna can, upside down house, and then go across, delt, center line, V, up a little bit. So that could actually be an upside down house as well if you're doing the neck, and then put the head here. Now, the reason I do this for the men is because a man's shoulders is definitely going to be wider and rounder than the female. When you do the female, you want to make it a little more flatter and squarer, if that makes sense. And you'll see as I go along. And of course, you have your oval or your rectangle, and then your cone. I'm not going to draw the whole person. So for the female, it was hard for me to do female because when I first started, I was doing men. I was doing men, trying to get that, you know, that superhero body working. And then so when I translated over to doing females, I was so used to doing this. My females were just too big, and my ovals, I would do an oval, you know, saying, okay, it has to be a little narrower. And then I put the house on there, and then I put the head up, and it was like too long, too big. And then I was like, you know, there's got to be a better way. So I kept studying and looking at it, and I put it into shapes. So the best shape I had come up with was a triangle. At first I did this, and then I think I put another triangle somewhere, but I did use 2 triangles, but I didn't bring it all the way to the top. I think I brought it like halfway down in the middle, and that was going to be, you know, the waist. And then I said, no, that's still too long. So then I decided that this doesn't have an eraser, so that's gonna kill me. I kept playing around with it, and I came up with putting the 2 triangles together. And that, to me, gave me a better shape for the female, because you already took care of the top and the bottom with just 2 shapes, 2 simple shapes. And then I started moving them around. So if I did this, and then I took that point, and I moved that point over, and I kept that there, then the female body would move a little bit. You know, you could have that little motion with the female body by just keeping one triangle, or I could tilt one triangle and tilt the other one even more. So I have something like this, keeping that at that point. So that's more motion. And then somehow I kept studying, and then I said, wait a minute, look at that. That's like the letter K. It was the opposite way. So I figured out to do the letter K is good for doing the female body as well. So we'll get into all of these in a minute, but this is more your side or 3/4 view if you're doing the letter K. But let's continue with this because I'll show you a couple ways that you can make your female a little different. All right, so I'm not gonna waste paper. You start out with, depending on what type of female, if you're trying to do like an athletic type or a more thicker woman or just narrower type, you know, like that with a petite, it determines how big your triangles are going to be. So if, let's just say I'm going to do this, I'll do it smaller and do a couple of them on the page. You don't want the wide shoulders. So if I'm doing the female, I'll do this and the bottom. Then right off the bat, I'll throw the head. Yeah, usually I will do the head very last on the male. I'm trying to hiccup, but it won't come out. So this is why I'm pausing. But I want to do the head on the female first. That way I can see how long the shoulders are. If need be, I can make the head bigger. It's just easier to do that than to continue to change the size of the triangle. So then if I want a woman the same, kind of the same with that anime type of shape, I can keep the hips the same length or the same width as the shoulders. So I'll say to myself, when I first do this triangle, I'll say, okay, that might be a little short because the crotch is going to be right here. Okay, after that goes the legs. So if I want to make it a little, the female a little taller, I can just drop the triangle down a little bit. So just remember, this is going to be where the crotch is. You know, the legs come after that. So think about that. This is the body. Like I said, that's going to kill me. So then I will say to myself, if I'm trying to do like the anime type, keep it the same width, the hips will be the same width as the shoulders. Then I would drop a line down and I would do this, that other triangle, not going past that. I have to switch up. I'm going to switch up to a lighter pencil because not having an eraser is going to kill me. I could stop the video and put an eraser in there, but I don't know where they are. So that's going to give you that kind of more like that anime type shape where it's more proportioned. You know, if I wanted to do a woman that is a little thicker, I just draw, wow, that is really hard to see. I'll deal with it. Maybe I want to draw a little thicker in the waist, in the hips, waist, hips. Get those two right. I have my triangle. And then instead of coming straight down, I'll make sure I bring it out a little wider. Like that. And for those who did not do, let me go ahead and do, if this is your first time and you're like, I don't see it. Let me go ahead and do one on here and I'll get back. Let me get another piece. I'll show you what the outcome kind of will be. And these videos, I'm going to make these videos a little shorter because, yeah, break them down because I don't want to throw too much on you. Okay, triangle. This is if your first time seeing this done to do females, this is how it's done. Center that. I know my lines are crooked. Do another triangle. Head, the size you want it to do, and the head. if I do the male head, it'll be more square. For those who have trouble drawing ovals, you know, and getting them right, you do that. Make that rectangle. Chop it out right here. Kind of like you're drawing a roof again for the house. Yeah, without going all the way. That's going to be the jaw. Here's your chin here, and then just round it off here, and then you have your male character with the neck. So for the female, I'll do the same thing almost. I'll bring this down and give more of a point. So for the male being square, the female, you want more of a roundish, not a point, but round it off a little bit. And if I'm leaning toward like the anime-ish, then I will, instead of this being straight down like this, I'll bring it out a little bit like that and then curve it. Or if I'm doing the younger female, so this has come out more. So back to this. So get my head here, my point, bring it out. So that's the size of the head, determining with the size of the shoulders. The neck is not going to be thick like the male's. It's going to come in depending on the age of the character. You don't want your neck thick on a female. So my legs are going to come straight down. This is going to be really quick to show you guys. Let's put my knee right here. It's going to come straight down, like still, out, and down, and out. And this is going to, you're going to cut this off right here. Again, a lot of drawing is triangles, rectangles, squares, circles, but you need a lot of triangles. Cut that off right here, do my delt, and then do my arm. And then my hand. And then for the breast, right at the center, because her collarbone is going to be right here, right up like below the chin. Do a heart, take that down to where you figure you want it. It's not going to be way down depending on the size of the breast, which you have another triangle. And then just round that off. If you want to keep it inside of the this triangle here, you can. If you want to take it outside of the triangle, you can. It depends on the size of the breast. So if she's going to be more voluptuous, then you can bring that breast outside. But all that is just a heart upside down. Draw a heart, Brian. And of course, the same way with the man's delts. You have the chest, goes up into the delt like that. It's going to be the same thing for the female. It's going to go up and curve in. You're still going to have some, I guess, muscle right there, but it's going to curve in to that. And we're going to get into that later, but I just wanted to show you using the triangle what you get. Now, this is going to be the waist, and it's going to be the hips. You just curve that. And then you have the bottom for the crotch. There's another V or roof for a house, and you have that. Space the legs a little bit, depends on what you want to do. And then the neck, unlike the male, if I'm doing this for the male, after this is my collarbone right here. After this, I'm going to give him more shoulder. So I'm going to add 2 little triangles, half triangles on that neck for shoulders. So for the female, you don't want to do that. You want to slope it, because instead of this being round, I keep pulling this and I keep using it. This is round for the male. You want to make it more square for the female, or flat for the female, and then collarbone. So with this comes, when the neck comes, I'm going to, instead of making it round like that, I'm going to slope it like a ramp or a jump for a bicycle or a car or whatever was going to jump off a ramp. So it's going to be like this. And then goes down into that square shoulder. All right, so now I've showed you a lot. So this is what's going to happen when you use the triangles. All right, video's over. Okay, so we're getting back to this. And the other way around too, if you wanted to make the female wider and more narrower, it's just how you determine the triangles that you want to do. But bring that triangle all the way to the top. You know, and as I said, you want to do a center line. You always want to do a center line. That should have been the second thing you do once you get the triangle. Center line. That way you can determine where this other point is going to be and how far out it's going to come out. And remember, it's at the bottom. So that's the body of the female. That is the workings of the female. Now, as I said, the reason I don't do this is because when I do this, I'm thinking about a male. You know, that's too wide for a female. But you want the tuna can, I don't even use that for the female. And then the upside down house. If you are so used to doing that, you can. But if you do the house, extend the sides like that, and then put the head. So even with a larger head on the female, that is still too round. You don't want the woman round like that. You want her to come in. So by doing the X, it's just easier. The only thing you're doing is you're rounding this off. You're rounding that off, and you're rounding this off right here. And then you're chopping this off here because the delts are going to go right there for the female. That's why I don't tend to do that. Now, I was going to say, if I do an action pose of a female, maybe, but I tend not to do it for the female action. I still try to keep those triangles in there, and it depends on, you know, if the character is leaning forward or not, because if you've been with me, you know I've been using this as a shape for the top. This is what the top of the shoulders are going to be like, pretty much shaped like that, and the head on top of that. So when you bend over, you're going to see some of this. So for a female, it's still going to go kind of like the triangle, but then you put the top, this top piece on like that. So but you have to keep it not so rounded, shall we say. You want to keep it I don't say squared off, but flat-ish. Let's just say squared off. And of course, remember the delts are, I'm going to chop that off, and the delts are going to be here. I am so jumping the gun in this video. But for those who your first time, if you are new to the channel, if it's your first time, or if you're really having a hard time with drawing women, this will give you, it gives you like a good preview of everything, because we're still going to get into the arms and the legs and, you know, shoulders and the whole 9 yards. So this is giving a good preview of where to start, and where to start is with this. So let's 17. I'm going to end this in about 20, at a 20-minute mark. So I'm looking for a marker, which are just right here. I'm looking for one that's going to actually write 08. So if I'm doing this and I'm going to actually turn this into the female, a couple things I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to, that V right there, and bring that out a little bit. This marker does not write. Word to the wise, don't go and collect a bunch of markers unless you are really about to use them. Neck is going to be in, and it's going to slope. Well, now where that slope ends, where it touches that collarbone, that's where your delt is. So I'm going to make that delt more squarish, flat. And then this is going to be narrow. And this is going to be a little wider. This is long. This is way long off the bat, right off the bat. Draw a hand, Brian. Draw a hand. You know how to draw a hand. Okay, so you have this delt that's coming out there. So that's going to bring that chest down and around. I'm going to put something on her so people won't be like, hey, he's drawing naked women. And then same thing, it's going to come up and down into that delt. That's the delt, into that bicep. And of course there. So as I said, you can either, I can show a little bit of lats right here, or not, depending on the size of the breast. And then it comes down here, and then I'm going to curve it out. Now right here, if doing more realistic, it's going to be like a bump, because if I'm not mistaken, I can't think of that bone, the pelvic bone is right here, so it's going to go in. I think it's like right up under that, and it hits this and it goes around. And the highest part there is a bone. There's the leg bone. What does that leg bone look like? It connects here and it comes out. And that's going to be the widest part of the hip, because your bone goes down like that. So wherever this comes out, I'll drop that down. I will have it come like this, hit, and then bounce out of that. So this is where like the underwear or panties or whatever will go, bathing suit. Let's just put one on her now, put one on the drawing now. So it's going to hit here and then bounce back out. And this is more for the realistic. If I'm doing anime, the whole thing is going to be smooth. And that's another thing we have to work on, is keeping this whole thing smooth without like the ins and the outs. Just kind of keep it going, flowing. And that's just like, that takes practice doing that to make the whole thing flow. And you come around, so always have room for the junk. Just a little V here for the legs. They're going to come together right here. They're going to go in at the knee, come out. Here's my knee. Here's my calf. And I think it comes out here, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be, now for this, I'm seeing that I do long legs when it comes to women. I don't know why. I would adjust my head a little bit to make that, if I like the body, if I'm saying to myself, I'm not going to change the body, I like it, it's good, it came out good, I would make the head just a little bigger to actually fit it a little better. So that's the start of it all. And for a hand, come down, top it like that. You can put the thumb here, fingers here if you want to bend the fingers. You don't have to, or the fingers could be straight. Chop it here, fingers could be straight. Thumb right here. So we'll get into that too, the hands, female hands, because females don't hold their hands the way men hold their hands. So 21 minutes, 45 seconds. That's going to be the first one. That's going to be your introduction to doing the female body. We'll get into the face, we'll get to the whole 9 yards, and then get into action poses as well. So just remember, start out with the triangles. Just play with the triangle and then bring this down. Just bring this down to a triangle. I have a book out. It's not out. It should have been out 10 years ago. It's still there. I just been lazy to do the dialogue, I guess you can call that, to put the book out. But just practice that and then do your head. Practice that. And next week we'll get back into this. We'll take it from here and we'll go further into it. We'll just break down pieces and then put them all together in the end. Same way we did the men. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. Short video, very informative. If you are having trouble drawing women, very informative. Keep don't have them too long. That's it, because I'm going to ramble. I'll see you guys next video.